The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. A little late on that, aren't we, Noah?
I got distracted.
I also got distracted by your sparkles, which I just said you look sparkly today, and you said I'm going somewhere, and I said where? You look all dressed up, and you said
I'm going to the gynecologist. I'm trying to distract
it's the
her.
Met Gala theme this year. It's gynecologist. You look, yeah. That's like are my eyes deceiving me? That's a sparkly top, no?
Yeah, it is.
Where'd you get that?
Anthropology.
You get everything. You love anthropology. That's where Brenna used to work. Miss you so much, Brenna, baby.
Baby, kisses.
Andrew's here at the top of the show.
How's the how old is the gynecologist?
She's someone new. I'm meeting her for the first time today.
Oh, great.
Kind of on the young side,
Great.
and I can't wait to show
My
her my junk.
therapist is on the young side. I'm going to a couples counselor right now.
Yeah.
With
That's great.
the person that I'm not even in a couple with.
Yeah.
It's,
Makes sense.
this is woke as shit,
Yeah, it's
like
pretty
we're not
progressive.
even a couple and we're going to, which I don't think is a bad idea. But she's young.
How old do you think?
She's probably my age.
Yeah.
So you're like,
She married?
I haven't noticed.
Yeah.
But she got her start in eating disorders, which I didn't know. But I was yesterday.
did
I got
you.
there. I know.
Oh my god.
Andrew, what the fuck? You're so funny. Stop it. That was a classic. That
should be on a shirt.
encapsulates
Yeah.
why you're funny.
Thank you.
That's it. Like that line right there. That is so fun. That was so fucking funny. So
Crime.
I got into the office yesterday, or I went in. So I go individually because she wanted to get our backstories, and then we go in together. And I went in individually, and I'm looking on her shelf. She has attached, which I was like, dude, I'm reading that. It's blowing my goddamn mind. And then I go, oh, you have a lot of Al-Anon literature, which is stuff that I've been familiar with in the past. And I was like, that's cool. And I was like, oh my God, you have Eating by the Light of the Moon, which is if you have any kind of eating disorder or just struggle as a woman with body image, that book, I told all my friends about it. It's a very spiritual book, but it's almost like fiction. And it's a great book. And it's rare that I've ever seen someone reading that. I think I found out about it in some, I don't even know where I found it. You never read about it. And I was like, you have Eating by the Light of the Moon. She was like, yeah, I actually got my start in eating disorder. I was like, oh, awesome. And now she does marriage counseling. I don't know if she's married, though, but she is hot.
I love that you do this with the therapist where you break. It's. Do you remember the Matt Damon? What's the Matt Damon Ben Affleck movie? The first one.
Oh, Good Will Hunting. I mean, I just watched Louis C.K.'s special.
Oh yeah,
So
where he talks shit about it.
Yeah.
But he's in the therapist's office and he's looking at the different books and he's questioning the books and then he's looking. Remember, he's looking at the painting and he goes,
yeah.
"Oh, this is a sad paint." He's like, "You painted this?" He's like, "This guy lost something and then and then you never got it." And he's talking about his wife
Starts
and
to
then
psychoanalyze.
yeah, before the. But that's
Listen,
interesting. That's something I would never do.
This
I would
girl and
never.
I could be a therapist. I think in another world,
yeah.
like that is, it's just the way I speak. I get people to talk about things that they feel easy. I'm good at it.
Yes.
And, but I also realize I'm not fucking educated and this woman knows a lot more than me, but she's probably my age, maybe younger. And, she's really cute and she's good. She's just really good. It's like young doctors sometimes give you a sense of dis-ease. But for me, I'm like, no, they just got out of school. They have just read all they're still hungry for knowledge. They're still excited about what they do, generally.
And they've learned they don't have the old mentality in their brain.
They're not reading the
that
DSM-1. They're reading the DSM-6.
It's hard to train an old dog new tricks. So like these older doctors, they're like, oh, just cut yourself and bleed out.
Just keep your emotions in. What are you doing
what
here?
are you doing? Stop being a pussy.
And I've never once laid down on a couch. By the way, if anyone is opposed to therapy because you think you'll have to lay down on a couch.
That's the only reason why I got in.
There's no couch. I have to sit.
Where's the bed?
But yeah, she just had all these books and it was.
But what makes a good therapist to you?
To me, it's someone who's, I like someone who's able to bring perspective to my thoughts and my patterns that I had never considered before.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a good comedian. As I was saying yesterday or 2 days ago about the Louis C.K. joke about air travel, it changed the way I thought about it forever. Never going to complain about a delay again in the way that I used to. And I think a therapist has a way of going, okay, well, I've noticed something here. Big picture, I've noticed that when he does this, you do this. And you doing that triggers him to do that. Then that thing that he does triggers you to do that. And then that goes back. She took out a whiteboard at one point and drew like an infinity sign.
Yeah.
And drew the loop of what the pattern that we're in, this dance that will always lead back to
why does it keep repeating itself?
I don't want to talk in specifics because
No, I'm saying in generalities. Like, why do you think? Because all humans do that.
I'll tell
because
you,
it feels comfort, right?
Attachment theory
we
says...
took a test last night.
So I'm interested to hear what you said. But to answer your question, first of all, we are trying to finish the story that our childhoods started. So our childhood, we didn't close that chapter, and we're trying to finish that book of the story of I'm not lovable. Mom and dad abandoned, whatever it is. We want to keep that going. Even if it's painful, saying goodbye to painful things is still hard, or change. And we like what we know, and what we know is what we grew up with. Now, when you talk about attachment style, from what I understand, the reason that people who are, let's say, an anxious attachment style, which is mine, which is like, oh my God, you're going to abandon me. Like, I get clingy and like, wait, what does this mean? He doesn't like me anymore. Why do I go after, why are we so attracted to avoidance, who are the people that are giving us that? Well, researchers go, why is that? This seems to be the opposite of what these people would want. These people should want something secure. But it validates our feeling about ourselves. So when I go out on a date with a secure guy who calls me back, doesn't seem to be shifty or change his mood or like me 1 second and then not like me the next, is just consistent, it doesn't validate my belief about myself, which is I'm unlovable. And as much as I don't want to be unlovable, I also don't want to be incorrect. And I know I'm right that I'm unlovable. So I would prefer to be right. And this is all subconscious. I mean, if I'm listening, I would prefer that the things that how this person treats me is in line with how I feel about myself than for that person to not like me, because it validates so when someone's avoidant, they always go after an anxious person because it validates their feeling that everyone wants something from them. They're better off on their own. People need too much. So they go after people that validate that need and say, see, she's so needy. Well, of course she is. Yep. She's anxious attached.
Because you've been avoidant. So where does it start,
No.
though?
It's not because you've been avoidant. It's because she's anxious attached.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying, though, if he's avoidant, like who starts first?
Anxious attached people and avoidant, they're triggered. They will be triggered by each other act out, but they're always going to be that way. So they'll even get triggered by secure people.
Hold on, I want to stop you right there. Because it's possible to change it.
Yes, but I mean, like, it's
not like a stamp forever.
Your baseline, though, like, I will always be anxious attached. Like, I'm anxious attached. It's literally my identity. I can get to a place where I feel secure in a relationship. Yes. And I do believe that I could become secure attached. But I can be happy as an anxious attached the rest of my life if I'm with someone who, whenever, the call goes to voicemail and I start spiraling, like, they don't like me anymore. They can make me feel okay and not avoid me the rest of the time. And avoidant people, they seek out anxious attached people because those avoidant people believe that they're better on their own, that people are too needy, that I'm going to lose some part of myself by being in a partnership. And if you believe if those are your core beliefs, being with someone who's secure, that doesn't need you and isn't being needy, is going to make you feel like you've been wrong all along, which is a much more uncomfortable feeling than being being with someone who needs you. Mm-hmm. Noah, does this check out?
So I just want to use myself as an example because I was very anxious attached and Avi was super avoidant attached. And we both read that book. We both understood things about ourselves. And I think he transitioned to secure, and then that helped me get there too, where things that I used to
met
be
in the middle.
Anya also shared with me today that Matt used to be avoidant and now he's super secure.
Yeah, and so I do believe that it's possible to have a well-balanced relationship as long as both people are communicating and understanding what's going on.
My point is, like, when you're an alcoholic, you're always an alcoholic, even if you're not drinking. So
yes,
I will always be anxious. It will always be in my nature if given the opportunity, even if I'm secure, I can be secure in a relationship. Anxious, attached, and avoidant people can feel secure. But when they are triggered, either way, by someone who needs too much from them or someone who is, on an airplane and doesn't have Wi-Fi, we will veer towards that way sooner than someone who is born secure with secure, who had parents that were there for them.
That's
that
on
met their
us,
needs.
though.
That is on us.
Do you agree?
Yes, and I agree. And in the book they say, I'm reading the book about avoidant, and I actually have some avoidant behaviors as well, and they offer all of these advice points for people with anxious attachment of how to combat those triggers that send you into those places of just misery and unknowing.
Because the ideal spot to really get to is to get to secure without the other person's reaction or without the other person.
This book actually says that no, we need other people.
Oh, you do?
It's okay to not
shepherd them.
You don't need. Everyone. This was the thing that blew me away about this book was that it said there's this new culture of if you need someone, it's codependent, like being in a couple, and that you shouldn't be in a relationship until you love yourself and you're enough for yourself. And it's just not true.
Yeah.
People become better people with the help of people.
For sure.
And it's okay to admit that. And one more thing I want to say is that they offer all these suggestions for anxious people to cope with it. But avoidant, it's a little bit trickier to cure because avoidant people aren't looking to assuage fear. Their fears aren't, I need to fix it. Their fears are, I need to go away from anything that could help me. So they're less likely to seek out help and to be a little bit more stubborn when it comes to changing than an anxious person who but they both have things that they can do that can make them secure.
Yeah. We took it. I think it's a different test. I mean, it was the quickest one essentially possible, but we both came up, me and Brenna, I miss you, baby. Kisses all over. We both came up fearful avoidant.
Wow, they said that fearful avoidant people never find each other. It is so rare that two fearful avoidants end up together.
Yeah, and we read about it a little bit. And it was funny. At one point, we're like, okay, enough of this, which is so fearful avoidant to be like, I don't want to hear about why we wouldn't be compatible. But what we got to after like reading the stuff and listening is like, here we are, two avoidant people that wouldn't mind being alone, but we're so happy with each other. So we're going against our natural instinct.
You're secure.
So that's kind of like a beautiful thing to me because
you're both headed towards secure.
Yeah, because we're both we're both okay being alone.
You're choosing each other.
But we're choosing. It feels like more of a choice.
Let me ask you this. It's not like you need each other. But let me ask you
this.
But
I'm sure we kind of need each other.
When do you get triggered? Can I ask you some questions in the avoidant chapter?
Yeah.
Real quick. Let me just pull this up.
I love
because
this.
I am interested in hearing why you resonate with the avoidant type of attachment.
If you think about it, I was single for 20 years, and a lot of it had to do. I think I was avoidant in a way where I didn't love myself, so instead of like you saying like, oh, I find an avoidant person because it shows that they can't love me. I tried to find nobody so it shows that they can't love me.
Right.
To prove that I'm not worthy of a relationship.
You don't want to seek out anyone because it will probably fall through and it'll say that you're unlovable, but it validates your belief about yourself, which is I'm better on my own.
Yeah.
So you don't even go out looking for it, as opposed to looking for people that are. It looks like you found someone who's also avoidant. Kind of checks out. Okay, so this is interesting. Most of us are fascinated with people who go out into their world on their own without any hindrances or obligations, without feeling the need to address or consider others' needs. This is people like Forrest Gump, Diane Fossey. And then he was talking about the guy in that John Krakauer book, Into the Wild. That guy that went out hiking.
And ate a berry and died.
Yeah, and the last guy that, saw him before he went out on his final thing was like, can I give you a phone? Can I get the numbers of people who love you? So to let anyone know. And he's like, I'll be okay on my own. And the truth is he wasn't. And if he would have had any help, he wouldn't have died. So what I wanted to see what you maybe what resonates with you. Like, why do you think though that you're avoidant? Like, what makes you start to go panicking? I want to get to the part where it's like, where they say deactivating strategies, your everyday toolkit for keeping your partner at arm's length. Okay. Some common deactivating strategies. These are things that avoidant people do. Saying, I'm not ready to commit, but staying together nonetheless, sometimes for years. Sounds familiar to me. Focusing on small imperfections in your partner, the way she or he talks, dresses, eats, fill in the blank, and allowing it to get in the way of your romantic feelings. Pining after an ex-girlfriend/boyfriend, the phantom ex.
Yeah.
Flirting with others, a hurtful way to introduce insecurity into the relationship. Not saying I love you.
I feel like I do a lot of
while
it.
implying that you do have feelings toward the other person. Pulling away when things go well. Not calling for several days after an intimate date. Forming relationships with an impossible future, such as someone who is married. I literally am avoidant textbook after this, but I also relate to, how can I be both?
I
Well,
think
that's
it
called
depends
fearful
on the
avoidant,
partner.
anxious avoidant.
What, Noah?
You could be different things. It depends on the
it's almost
relationship
like
that you're in.
masculine, feminine.
It's also like when you're reading, like you're a Scorpio.
Checking out mentally when your partner is talking to you. Keeping secrets and leaving things foggy to maintain your feeling of independence. I feel like you could maybe do some of that. Not
Yeah.
like lying, but just like, I don't need to say every detail.
Yes.
Because I want to feel like I
Brenna
still
said
have my own.
something so funny last night. She goes, our relationship like isn't super deep because like I don't think super deep. It was like the
She
funniest.
does, though.
I think she does. Yeah, I think she thinks probably
She's
deeper
so
than
sweet.
I am.
I was like really sad the other night, and then she wrote me. I followed up with her because she helped me the other night, and then the next night I followed up with her, and she was like, I just really want to. She always follows up and says like, I regret not doing this thing in the moment with you. Like one time she followed up with me to say, I feel like I was like talking about myself the whole time when we were sharing that thing, and I was like, oh my God, no, like I loved that. I would never in a million years be like, Brenna only talks about herself.
Yeah.
That's just not who you are.
Yeah.
So like, just that is not the way I would ever perceive you. You just aren't that person. There's no, and the fact that you're even thinking about this equals you're not that person. But then last night 2 nights ago, she wrote me and she was like, I wrote to her and she goes, how are you, by the way? And she said, I just want to read what she wrote. It was so sweet. You have the sweetest lady. She goes, I wish I had given you a big hug last night. I felt horrible that you were feeling that way and I'm always here to talk. Just saying I wish is better, honestly, than if she had given me the hug
Yeah.
because I'm uncomfortable with like hugs in the moment. Sometimes when I am on the brink of crying, I don't want people to hug me because then I'll
it
just
feels
lose
like
it.
patronizing too.
I'll
doesn't
lose it.
Oh,
And I
okay.
feel like they have to
Yeah.
hug me. But the fact that she said, I wish I had is more to me than a hug. But Brenna, if you're listening, totally hug me anytime you want. But like that was so nice. Let me ask you about, let's
It's
go through the
interesting though
anxious
because I
ones.
heard a lot of the avoidance stuff and I didn't feel like
I know, that's why I want to go through anxious
Yeah.
with you. Let's go to break and then we'll come back with some, we'll do the checklist of anxious attached and see if Andrew it resonates with you in that way. And we'll do the news.
I'm nervous.
All right, well, we're back. We're talking attachment styles. Andrew, you didn't really check out, you didn't feel that the avoidant ones in the book attached really resonated with you.
I feel like
The last
past me,
Oh,
like especially with friendships, I was extremely like I was like, oh, this is going bad. You're done. I'm
oh
gone.
no. It says avoidant is when things go good, you pull away. When it gets too
That's
close, you
weird.
pull away. Avoidant people don't want to get too close. The second it feels too intimate, they freak out and they run the other way.
But I guess
that
there's two
before,
different kind of intimates though,
where
to me.
guys, I'll have this amazing night where we connect, and
Yeah.
then the next day it's like, did that not happen? Like, why are you talking to me like it didn't happen?
I think sometimes if it gets intimate
Because they were on Ambien.
Yeah, and the probably more than that. And then no, but who knows? I feel like with when what was like what we were just talking about, the avoidance.
Sorry, friends.
Friendships.
Getting too close.
When things go good.
Oh, when things go good or things get too intimate. I think there's two different sides of intimate that can scare me. Or I'm sorry, one side scares me. The one that's loving and intimate, that's like we're connecting and it's physical and even like emotional.
Looking in each other's eyes, saying
That's-
"I love you so much."
I could do
kind of
that stuff now. Like
Okay.
that was hard for me.
Good for you.
But I do think when it gets intimate in a way where it's like why are you acting this way? Like, we're really like breaking down each other and like why and getting closer through like.
Well, it sounds like you just don't like conflict.
Yeah,
and you
I hate
don't.
conflict.
You hate it. We know that about you.
Yeah.
And Brenna,
Because my parents fought
Brenna might
every-
not know it, but girl, I just figured it out recently. Andrew does not like to be confronted about. No one likes confrontation.
Yeah.
No one likes criticism.
Yeah.
Even though on the other side of criticism, and a lot of times criticism is misinterpreted as judgment, when really it's just like, hey, this thing you did hurt me, and I'm not mad at you about it, but we have to acknowledge it hurt me, and we have to find a way so it doesn't happen again. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean you're a bad person. I don't think you purposely did it, but you did hurt my feelings, and you don't need to get defensive right now. But that,
You know what it is my mother, when she would try to be a mother and tell me, it's very sad, but like try to tell me like what to do or like how to live my life. And then I see her as an alcoholic in her room, like just letting her life go away. It was hard to take criticism or take any kind of.
it's the why am I not gonna? I'm not gonna put in the dryer sheet if you're leaving your bags out.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So if my mom is like drinking and letting her life go and then she's trying to tell me what to do with my life, I'm like, well, your actions don't, but she could be right. She could, not only
You can
could
be
she,
right.
she could be right. She is right.
Yes, but it's
But it's very hard to take when.
You know
when,
what it's hard
yeah.
though about that is that that's her way of trying to show you love.
Yeah.
And show that and be your mother. But the mother you needed was a mother that wasn't drinking all day in her room. That was the only way she was able to have that connection with you
Yeah.
and feel like she was still like a mother.
I know.
And it wasn't enough for you because like I was talking about this last night with a friend of saying like sometimes I feel like, and I think a lot of people relate to this, you feel like your parents just don't know you. And or they'll suggest something like, you know, sometimes my mom's like, wait, you like, yeah, let's an example of like, you know, make sure you eat before that flight. I mean, I do this to you a lot too. Like, make sure you do this thing, but like they
Yeah.
treat you like a child, right? Or they say, Nikki, are you really gonna go on stage and not say like sometimes my parents go, because I'll say I had the best time on stage. It turned into like a TED talk and people were moved by it. And my dad goes, well, people go to see you because they want to laugh. And I go, do you think that I am
know.
like throwing, do you think that I'm doing something reckless with my career? I'm sharing this because it was actually a good thing. I know what my job is, Dad. I'm successful. Like, and it makes me feel like you don't know me. Like you
But in a
think
way,
that I would think that.
But he could be right in that
Sure.
circumstance where
But
like some people are
I guess
like.
that's a bad example, but like
No,
where
but
you
I'm
just
not
feel like your
trying to,
parents
like-
don't know you.
yes.
Maybe they give you this Christmas. You're going to get. We talked about this early on in the podcast. If you're new to the podcast, one time we were talking about we did a top one, bottom one gifts we'd received, and we were talking about sometimes you get a gift and you just go, this person doesn't know me at all. Not only do they not know my size, but I would never wear this. I hate this type of fabric. I don't like even supporting this company because they have human rights. It's like you just feel like this person, a stranger, could have like
Yeah,
took a
could
shot
have
in the
picked
dark
it up. Yeah.
and done a better job than my mother who loves me, who says she loves me. How can you love me if you don't know me? I'm really struggling with that because I was saying today, and I hope my parents never hear this because I don't want them to think that I don't think they love me because they do. But for me, love is being interested in my feelings. That is how I interpret love. And when I'm in a relationship, I'm realizing now through therapy, like for me to be in a relationship, this is not even a bad example. I don't want to be friends with or have anyone in my life claiming they love me who doesn't go, why do you like Taylor Swift so much? What is it? Why? Like, try to get me there. I'm interested in you. I love you, and
Yeah.
you love this thing so much. I wanna kind of know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me give it. Like, if you have no interest in understanding the people, if you love someone, you want to like share the thing. You want to get to know their friends. Like, you love these people. I want to get to know them.
Do you feel like you do that with? Because I feel like I don't do that with
I
my
do.
own parents. And then like I
with
get
my own parents, no, you're
That's
right.
what I'm saying.
That's
So, like,
why it's different,
I
and you're
know.
right. And I, you know, but you know what? It doesn't have to be a two-way street. I'm their
I
daughter.
know.
They're my parents. I didn't ask for them. They did ask for
But
me.
it was like, it's so funny you bring that. Like, I was like, my friend Aaron from college, who I've known for 25 years, to my dad. And he's like,
But I'm talking about love.
No, I know that.
Like Andrew, I feel loved by you because you are a special friend to me. Like, any girls out there that have male friends, you know they're lacking in certain ways that your girlfriends. They're not as emotional. Unless they're male comics, then they're very feminine energy. But they're always going to be less so than your most masculine energy female friend. It's just the way it is. They're not gonna care about the same shit you care about. But like, in terms of my Taylor Swift thing, or a movie I like, or a song I like, you always ask, like, you always give me space for that. Even if you don't want to hear it, you always give space for, like, you like this thing so much. Okay, I'll give it a shot because I love you. So that love to me is like being interested in things that bring that person
smart,
joy.
and that you would pick things that we tend to.
But you also are curious. You're like, why is it? Like, sometimes you go, oh wait, what's this song about? And maybe I don't do that all the time for you, but I do feel like even when it comes to Brenna, like I think I was more open to getting to know her because I trust you so much and I love you so much that I'm like, I'm going to love anything you love. So this is only going to make my life richer.
But it also shows.
But when people aren't interested, I just go, you don't love me.
But I think it starts with seeing that person. Like, it'd be one thing if I just was hooking up with Brenna, and then you started seeing that, oh, I really started to have feelings for this woman, which you probably haven't seen from like a mature side of like, oh, I care about this person more than me.
I knew when you loved her.
Yeah.
But like Noah, like for example, with you with jujitsu, like I think we don't get to have these deep talks as much as we used to be able to, even in person. And even back then we didn't after our series show. But I feel like, in terms of as much as I can give you, I go, it checks out. I love Noah because I actually care about the things she cares about. And I want to know, why does jujitsu make you happy? What is it about Buzzy that is so endearing to you? Like, I don't get the cat thing. I want to see the world through your eyes, much like you were describing how you want to have a child and see the world through their eyes. I think I like to do that through the friends the people I love. So
that's so sweet.
When I have a boyfriend or something, or thank you, but like, is that not the way other people feel? Like, am I really, is this unique in the sense that like, I think I've nailed it down to like, love for me is wondering why I love Taylor Swift so much. And that's a dumb thing, but I'm a 37-year-old woman who's obsessed with this woman who brings me so much joy. And if you're someone in my life who loves me and you don't have any curiosity about maybe this is something I could learn something from. Like, Nikki is a smart person who has good taste. Clearly people who love me think I have good taste because I'm friends with them. So if they like themselves, I have good taste. Wouldn't you be curious as to why I just don't like Taylor Swift. I'm obsessed.
Yes.
Even if you don't care to be a fan of hers, wouldn't you like to understand why I am? Like, Chris loves Formula One racing. I don't give a fuck about racing, or at least I didn't think I did. But he's so passionate about it. It's curious to me why anyone could love something that much. And I go, explain it to me. I understand football. I understand baseball, like loving those things, even though I don't love them. You've explained it to me a lot of why you love athletes and watching sports. Racing, this to me does not seem, I'm turning a steering wheel, does not seem like an athletic endeavor. But then he talks me through the pit crew and the teamwork and
the drama,
the knee jerk, like how these guys are going so fast. They have to have better
hand-eye coordination
than anyone.
Anything, yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I get to now enjoy this thing that I would never have enjoyed unless I loved this person and they showed me the way.
And can I just go back to one thing though? Because the dad thing about the friend, and you said it wasn't emotional. It is emotional because I love that friend. So like,
not like this.
No, I think you're telling me not, but I'm telling you that like for me, this is my brain.
But yeah, in my interpretation of love.
Yes, but I'm saying though, you love Taylor Swift. I love my friend Aaron, who I've brought up to my father before. Or like, I'm just using Aaron as an example.
Yes.
Point being is that it's not being taken in by my dad, which he takes in other things. But like, there's certain friendships or certain, my brother might have dated someone for a year and my dad didn't even realize it. But I don't know stories about, and I know you said it's on a two-way street, but then it started to realize, like, I don't know stories about my dad because I never asked. Yeah. So it's like, here I am judging someone so much, and I know I'm the son.
You're the son.
I know,
parents,
but you know
I'm
what
sorry,
I mean, though? Like,
we give our parents so much leeway because we're not doing the same thing for them. You're a child. You're not supposed to be there for your parents. You're not your parents' friend. You're not your parents' support system. You're not your parents, like, you aren't the reason like, your parents who go, I live for my children. Well, that's on you, Mom. You need to.
but don't you get to an age where it reverses a little bit?
Yes, you know when your parents need you? When they get to be elderly and they can't wipe themselves and they're falling and they are being taken advantage of by telemarketers. They need you to come in when they cognitively decline. But if you have parents you're an adult child and your parents are depending on you for, you don't call enough, you don't stop by. I'm not your friend. You had me, you raised me. That is on, you had to do those things. You don't get to lord those over me and be like, well, I raised you. That's your fucking job. You literally signed up for that. I didn't sign up to be born. I'm an adult. I am not the reason. You cannot make your identity a mother. And if you did, it ended with me moving out of the house. It's done. I'm 18. I'm not, if your only reason for living was being a mother, then I guess you have to die because I'm not going to keep being your child. And you have to have boundaries like that. So when my parents go, well, you don't ask about our lives, it's not, yes, I will try to show my love that way if you need to, and I will try to get to a place where, and by the way, I do. I love the Beatles because my dad loves the Beatles. I've seen it through his eyes. I love going to Goodwill and like turning and flipping a thing on eBay or learning about that because my mom has shown me that because I do love her. But when my parents, I really feel hurt that my parents have never said, what is it about Taylor Swift you love so much? Because to me, if I had a daughter that was obsessed, and I'm even going back to Dave Matthews. I mean, all of a sudden, 10th grade hits and I become a different person. I am only Dave Matthews obsessed. It's all I talk about. It's all I think about. And for my parents to never go, play us your favorite song and like tell us why you like this, to me is like an egregious misstep on their part as showing their love. And I'll go back to your friend Andrew or Aaron as an example. My parents, when my friend committed suicide in high school, he was someone that I only knew through school. He never came over because he was a new friend. I'd only known him 2 weeks, but I got to know him very well in those 2 weeks. And he was Kirsten's friend, and Kirsten was over at my house every fucking day. So, but when he committed suicide and I was sad about it, my parents said, we don't know this person. We've never even heard you talk about him. What are you sad about? And that is the same as the Aaron thing of like, if I don't know of you, if
it's
I
like
don't
a
know about
celebrity
it,
thing
if
almost.
you don't even know about your friend that well,
Why
do I
point
care?
something out, Nikki? I don't know if you realize that you did this, but in the beginning, in the first part of the show, you said as adults we look to complete our childhood in relationships. Then you said that you believe that love is when your partner wants to see the world through your eyes.
Yeah.
And now you just said that your parents have not done enough to see the world through your eyes about the things that you really care about.
And that, yes. No, you're right. Like I keep choosing people, romantic partners that have the same kind of love for me my parents did, which is I love you. I say I love you.
But it's
and I'm there for you. I provide for you. I got all the folders for you to go to school. I will buy you any whiteboards you need for your presentation. I will drive you to skating practice. I'll drive you to your friends. I will clothe you. I'll feed you every single meal. But I don't care about why you like Dave Matthews. And to me, I'd rather make my own food and have you sit me down and let me play you a song and tell you why it means something to me than and maybe have to go use an old piece of cardboard from an old project and be like, and you know, maybe I'm saying this because I had those things. Maybe you grew up with parents that were very emotionally available, but you didn't have school supplies, or they made you fend for yourself for dinner, and that felt very unloving. To me, that's not how I'm shown love. Is not acts of service. It's. I don't even know what that is. What is that love language?
I guess people would go
Taylor Swift Curiosity.
People would go. You had those things so you could be sad about Dave Matthews. Like, so if you didn't have those things, Dave Matthews wouldn't, like, it's like
Dare
growing
I say,
up.
though, shelter, food are necessities. They are not things that your parents do for you as a favor or going the extra mile. Those are, you as born a human, you have a right to food and shelter, but you don't have a right to someone caring about your feelings.
Yeah.
And that is something that parents need
I don't think I was ever asked as a
parents
kid.
need to stop this. I fed you. This is my house. I gave you this.
I paid
It's
for
like,
your school.
I didn't, of course, because you have
bought
to
you
do
a
that.
car.
That's what you have to do. You're a parent. That you don't get an award for that. Shut up.
Yeah.
And to parents out there that work really hard to provide those things for their kids, and they're probably listening to this being like, no, I do deserve a fucking thank you. You'll get it when you're old and your kids provide those things for you. Shelter in a nursing home they find for you, or letting them, taking care of you. Food, literally feeding you. You'll be a baby someday. But in the middle of that, when your kid is an adult and you're an adult, no more. Let's try to meet each other's needs
how about
in
we do
other
this?
ways.
How about we do this? Because this is hitting.
Share this podcast with our parents?
Well, this is hitting very close to home because one, my dad was a workaholic. He was avoidant in that way. He was very cut off emotionally because of that, and he just put everything into work. And like even at night, he was doing stocks. He wasn't. I don't think my dad. He did all those things: shelter, food, all that stuff.
Yeah, money.
I can't remember, and I know this sounds like, oh, you're being over dramatic. I can't remember one time my dad going, "How are you feeling?"
Yeah.
Or like, where's your head at today? Like, I just don't remember ever doing that. And
Me
so it's
neither.
like,
And-
and then my mom didn't do it because she was an alcoholic and she wasn't emotionally there for herself enough to be there for me.
And your dad was a workaholic. So
And
your
yeah.
mom was in the bottle and your dad went full throttle at work.
in a hospital.
A hospital.
Hospital. Yes. So here's the thing.
Okay.
We have listeners that are parents, right?
Yeah.
They probably have teenage kids. Maybe they have younger kids.
Yeah.
If you're at dinner
Tonight
or sometime this month, what's like a great way to
Love
like
this.
maybe just stop what the routine that you currently are at. You can change today.
And it might be awkward. Like parents feel awkward around their kids and your
Well, you
kids
could be
might be a
afraid of the
teenager
truth.
that's like, fuck you, mom. Ew, why are you asking about my feelings? Like
Yeah.
it's going to be weird to suddenly do this, but it's not too late, and it shows you care because you're willing to change the way you've been doing it. You're not perfect because no one fucking is. So I think the best thing to do, if I'm let me put myself in 13-year-old Nikki Glaser, who is the biggest bitch possible and was not to be messed with or asked about or touched or like
Yeah.
show, like I would have, in my parents with my Dave Matthews, I think find what your child is interested in, whether it's Minecraft, whether it's porn, whether it's like reading, whether it's whatever, Coco Melon, like we're talking all ages here. Something your kid is passionate about and say,
Porn is-
why do you love this so much? Tell
Yeah.
me what does this do for you? Because I know that I have things like this in my life that make me just as happy as this thing makes you. And I just want to understand. I want to enjoy it as much as you do and see if I can get there. See if you can get me there.
Or if you love what I do, like let's say your dad loves golf and you take a real strong. It's like I love the fact that you've taken such a liking in something that I like. Like it could also be that too, like acknowledging that like
Or
you-
like, hey,
yeah.
tell me something you've learned about this. What's an interesting fact
Yeah.
about BTS? Like, who's your favorite member of BTS? Why do you like Harry Styles so much? Like, honestly, even if your dad and your daughter is like horny, your young daughter is horny for Harry Styles and you're kind of uncomfortable with it, be
What's
like,
it about his music?
hey,
Yeah.
hon, what's your favorite Harry Styles lyric? What's like just a dumb question like that? And honestly, you can blame it on me and say, okay, tonight we're doing something different at the dinner table. First of all, we're having dinner together, so
Yeah.
sit down, and we're trying
We
something
never
new.
did
We don't have
that.
to do this again, but we're doing something new tonight. I'm the parent. I get to call the shots, and I listened to this podcast, and today they said, they were talking about these two people have parents that they love so much that I listened to, but they have things about their parents that like I don't want you guys to have those feelings about me when you grow up and have a podcast. So tonight I am trying to be a better parent, and I know this might be uncomfortable, and I know you might go, God, Mom, shut up.
Yeah.
But you're not getting up until you tell me one interesting thing about the thing that you love. Go round robin, like. And not asking them how school went, not asking them, did you have fun at your friends? No one cares about that. Feelings. Check on your children's
I think
feelings.
such a simple question of how are you feeling recently? Like
That's too fraught. It's like that makes you feel like you're in a counselor's office and they're like, do you think I'm on drugs or something? Like, why are you asking about my feelings?
Yeah.
Let's just start from like something your kid is passionate about,
Yeah.
asking them why they love it, because that's tapping into what does this make you feel like?
But don't you feel like because we avoid that like
you can
uncomfortable
get there, but this-
question?
your kid's gonna stomp
Okay,
off and
maybe
go,
you
"Mom,
don't-
shut up."
Maybe you don't start there, but maybe, like you said, maybe like I think that's why people end up in therapy, because we avoid these like weird kind of intimate conversations, and then the only person you could talk to about it is a fucking stranger because you've never talked.
Literally, you plop down on a couch and you start talking about your feelings, and it's maybe sometimes the first time you've ever talked about your
Yeah.
feelings. We have to hire someone to ask us about our feelings. Save your children money in the back end. Save yourself money, because your kids will learn how to ask about feelings, and then you'll get your needs met when they become adults and know how to cherish other people's feelings and be interested and show their love in that way. I don't think there's a human being aside sociopaths that don't want to communicate and be understood in regards to their feelings. So don't say no, my kid's the exception. Unless you have a kid that's like nonverbal autistic, I think that this is something that you can actually employ.
I think what it is too, though, I think at least in my situation, my dad, because of how the divorce went and he was probably afraid of asking. He was like afraid of how he really felt, and he didn't want to hear it, so he avoided it. And I think a lot of parents, like if like your relationship didn't go well, or if you're fighting a lot in front of the kid, whatever it is, you might not be asking how they're feeling because you're afraid of the truth. But avoiding that is a whole nother thing on your end.
And you know what? This is
and you might find out we weren't
asking about the
we
music
weren't
they
that
like,
angry about that,
or the TV show they like will give you the path towards that.
Yeah.
Because it's too much to bring up. Like when a dad just sits down Danny Tanner style on your bed and is like, I want to talk about you walking in on me and mommy. Like that's too much. Or like, I want to hear your feelings about your mom's death. If you've never brought that up before, it is going to, that's too much. That's like just shoving it in dry. Like you gotta lube up your kids with some cursory BTS. That's that, Korean band, K-pop band. Ask about what they love, because what they love is based upon it's valid. It's making them able to feel their feelings. I loved Saved by the Bell because it validated like popularity matters, and I care about this thing. I feel less than. I want to be a beautiful girl. Like there were things in Saved by the Bell that my mom could have asked about, like why Zach Morris? What is it about him that you like so much? He's funny. Oh, so you like funny people? Let's talk about that. And that will be a movie someday that you ask Judd Apatow for an audition for, and he will say yes 3 weeks later, and you'll go audition for it, and then you won't do very well, and Aubrey Plaza will get the role, but at least you tried, and you never get to babysit for him again. It's a good story to tell on your podcast really fast, right before you go to break.
You heard it here first. Yeah, you heard it here first.
Oh, you heard it here first, folks. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. It is almost Christmas, and it's also Wednesday.
Can I just say we do have to go through the anxious attached things before the end of the show. Final thought.
You know what? I wouldn't even think of it.
Well, you are fucking secure as shit, dude. What's the news today?
And I hope everyone's having all the swells except for Danny.
Danny?
Yep.
I like that name.
I do too.
That's a fun guy.
My brother was Danny growing up. Changed it to Dan.
When he started making money.
Listen,
like
you
Danny
don't want
for
a
a girl.
Danny to invest your money.
You don't want a Danny to
I
check
love
out your
Danny
kinda.
as a girl's name.
Yeah,
Yes.
like
There's a
that's
porn
girl's
star
name.
that's really great. Danny, she did a segment for Not Safe, my show on Comedy Central. What was her name? Danny Fuck. Danny Fuck is her name. And
Danny
boy,
Fister.
I'll tell you, she does.
Hey.
If I became a porn star, by the way, I don't need to change my name.
No, not at all. You just changed Glaser to Glaze Her.
I changed it to Glaser. I barely know her. Would be my hyphenated.
I mean, Nikki is
Already a
You don't want a doctor
Nikki.
named Nikki. You don't want anything. Nikki.
Glaser.
Hi, I'm Dr. Nikki Glaser.
I know. I trust that bitch. Listen,
No,
step into my
put
office.
sparkles on
you
for
just,
ya.
You just trusted that bitch. I just psychoanalyzed you a little bit. We got there.
Hey, man.
You got there though. That was really good. I think we just did a lot of good.
If I was a porn star, I'd name myself Little Tiny Skinny Cock.
Andrew Colon.
And I would just take it in the ass.
Yeah. Oof.
Through the drawbridge door.
Oh my God. Someone
Lower the door!
Someone said they laughed so hard when I called that little flap a doggy door. Just like the dog like, whoop.
It's like the back of like a truck, you know,
Yeah,
when they
the
put
mud flaps. I
the
said
mud-
that too.
Oh yeah, you did say mud flaps.
Okay,
Okay. People are sharing the worst parts of sex that no one talks about. When the dong slips out, I don't mind that. Being on top means I'm dripping sweat from my face, and usually it's landing around my girlfriend's eyes and mouth.
I like it.
Taking a little too long to finish and then feeling embarrassed. And the more you think about it, the harder it is.
These are not even. These are pedestrian, awkward sex things.
Oh,
You
this
want to
is
talk
fun,
about
though.
the worst parts of sex? Let's really go there.
But I was performing oral sex on my boyfriend. My jaw dislocated.
What about when you fart during sex? Let's go
Yeah.
there. Like
Yeah,
farting
that's
during
one
sex.
of them.
Your armpit making a fart. Your chest making a fart. Any kind of flatulent noise.
Getting fingered by someone who did not cut their fingernail.
No, what about getting fingered when your pussy is dry? Like
Yeah.
that's
Or after
hell.
2 shows or something.
Or when you have 2 show pussy and you kind of you weren't planning on someone going down on you and they do and you're like, ugh, it's not my or toilet paper in your vagina. Let's talk about when a guy isn't it loses his erection. I mean that does happen to the hottest women with the guys that are so into them because I've gotten dry before because of nerves.
Yeah.
And like been or because I'm not hydrated properly or just like in my head. It has nothing to do with like I'm old or I'm not into you. It's like it means I'm not connected to my vagina because I'm so in my fucking head.
Well, the same
thing is
argument
with
goes to when my dick goes soft.
Exactly. And I know that. Like I never take
Also, think about
Well, I
putting
can't take a
blood
soft dick.
anywhere else in your body for like 45 minutes without it going soft. That's just not like humanly
the fact
possible.
that any man can do it at all and get hard is a fucking feat of science. Like I don't they get so hard it's like a bicep muscle. It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense and it's not a muscle, it's blood. It's crazy. Bravo to you if you can even get half an erection. And I did get one listener to write to me with small penis and said, "What should I tell women?" Because I go into dates and I will get close to a woman and right before it gets intimate, I will just pull away. And that girl's got to think, "Oh my God, he doesn't like me." And it's because he has a small penis. Which I don't want women to now go, "Oh, it wasn't me. He just has a small dick."
Well,
You
this
know?
is the thing. Someone wrote me and they're like, yesterday you mentioned Nick and Ryan.
Yeah.
Nick's dick got brought up being big at the table.
Ryan.
Oh, Ryan. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Ryan's dick.
Yeah.
Got,
We don't know what Nick's packing, but yeah.
Yeah, got brought up at the table and then it was like, ooh. So it's like, does that?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. That I'm not saying that big dicks still won't get girls' attention.
Yes.
I'm saying much like a woman with long, luscious, flowing locks that make men go, "Oh, she's fertile. I'm attracted to that. I can't help it." Or big boobs does not make women with small boobs not deserving of love.
Yes.
That is what I'm saying. Like we can still comment on big dicks and like, "Oh, it's good." But guess what? Like I said, I like big dicks because they've served as the molds for things that you're going to put in a duffel bag and bring over to my house. So like I want big dicks inside me, but I don't need them attached to you. I don't care. And so I told this guy, don't tell a girl beforehand. Let her open your pants that way. And when she does see it, go, "Listen, I know this isn't what any of us wanted." Make a joke about it, right? Say, "This isn't what I wanted. It probably isn't what you wanted. This is what I've got. But let me just say, if this isn't enough for you," say something like, I think I would want the guy to say, I'm trying to think
But
of,
isn't that too much
no, because
in the moment?
no, if
No.
you
I'm
inject
not
comedy
saying to
and-
make a joke, but you don't have to like do a soliloquy.
No, but I just mean, just say, "Listen, this isn't what I wanted. This isn't what you wanted. But listen, I'll take care of you in any way that you need, and you'll be quite all right." And then go down on her or finger her. Learn how to finger till she squirts. There's a way to do it. Like and say, and if it does turn into soliloquy, say, "And by the way, if you need a big dick, pick one out online, ship it to my house, and I'll bring it over next time."
Also,
And I'll
it
fuck
could
you
be-
with it.
It could be funny to be like, to take your pants down and be like,
That's a confident
you
guy.
gonna be a handle? You think you could handle all this?
That's hilarious.
That's hilarious.
That's a great line.
Yeah.
That's a great line.
And she'll be
saying,
like-
"Are you sure you can handle all this? Will this fit?" That is so funny.
I'm sorry about your.
It might
I'm
be
sorry
the
the back of your throat.
It might be the Larry David thing of when he gives Patton Oswalt the line of, "I'm in the hot dog eating contest," to be funny.
Yeah,
And then the
it
girl
doesn't
doesn't have a
work.
sense of humor because she doesn't expect it from him. And so he's like, you got to be a funny guy to pull off that line.
What
But
if
you're
she's
listening
like,
to this, you're
what if
funny.
she's like so serious? She's just like, "No, your dick's small though."
Oh my God. No, it's really small. Of course that'll fit. It's tiny.
No, I know that was the joke though.
Well,
Fuck.
yeah, your dick is small. Where do we go from here? Hey, Noah, what is like something that comes to mind for you of like the most awkward things we don't talk about during sex that makes you go, oh, there's like a moment. Do you have any flashbacks of awkward things?
From the list, they mentioned people who don't cut their fingernails before fingering.
Yeah.
For me,
Never
it's
had
like
that.
if there's dirt under the nails, and I
Yeah.
noticed that as we're making out.
What
and
if
then
they get it
fingers-
from fingering me?
That would also be awkward.
I never check a guy's fingernails. You know what's something I just
I
realized I
can't.
do?
What?
Sometimes, like, this is graphic. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to turn anyone on, but we're talking about sex openly. I feel like a lot of times I like a really like spitty blowjob. Like I like to like.
Oh,
Wow,
Keep going.
He's really off that Zoloft. Well, Buten's really coming in clutch for him.
keep going.
So sometimes I like to gag myself so that I can make more. Just stop it. I'll make like a lot of mucus, right?
Yes.
And like
Yes.
spit to get it.
The Carlisle effect.
Yeah, Carlisle like makes a little watering hole in the back of her where you would jump and that one kid drowned that summer. Like she makes a watering hole in the back of her throat with all the stuff, and then she like slurps it all over. I like really wet, spitty blowjobs. Sometimes though, whatever that thing is in me that says start making spit because like you're about to touch a dick or lick a dick, like it'll almost be like involuntary, and I'll start doing it during making out, and all of a sudden I'll have this amount of spit in my mouth where the guy just thinks I just like literally so much spit that as you're making out it just floods into their mouth. And that, if anyone relates to that, there is a hilarious clip from Magic Mike that I want to tell people about. The Magic Mike show on HBO Max. It's a new show that I'm on, and it honestly, you guys, I haven't seen it yet, but I was on the finale episode and I filmed it this summer. It's so the premise for the show, it's on HBO Max. It's finding the next Magic Mike. I think that's the name of it. These regular Joe Schmo guys that have like dad bods that went through the pandemic, lost their mojo, either got dumped, got injured in a sport that they were really succeeding at, and then now they are unemployed. They're driving for Uber. They decided to find all these guys and coach them to turn them into male strippers to get their confidence back, because to be able to strip on stage and own your masculinity up there and dance around, you gotta be confident as fuck. And so I went in, and at the end of the show, I realized I only saw these guys at the end, and they're all like Chippendales, like,
Yeah.
but they all started off as Joe Schmoes. And what I learned was the same thing I learned in Dancing with the Stars: is once you are gyrating on stage and you have your shirt off and all these things, there's nothing you can't do. That's the most embarrassing thing ever, and you're doing it, and people like it, and you've overcome this fear of being ridiculous. These guys now can go out in the world and like they're going to be on the self-esteem these guys. This is a magical show. I was crying. There were emotions, but there's one scene that I get a lap dance during the show.
Yeah.
I'm meeting the two like final contestants, and one of them, this is like a backstage area. I'm like, can you show me like what you got? I've like never had a lap dance. So he starts giving me a lap dance, and his dick is like right here.
This isn't on TV.
No, it's on TV.
Oh, okay.
I just saw the clip the other day, and I came across it, and I played it. My dad was sitting there. I go, sorry, Dad, but his dick is in my face. And
How
it's-
did you feel about that dick, Nick? Did you love it? Like, was it like Dave Matthews for you?
Honestly, yes. No, this guy was so hot too, and he.
How did it feel though to have like a flaccid
what I
penis?
said was, I have never been this close to a dick with my mouth without sucking it, and it feels weird to not suck it. And it really did. Like, you don't get that close. You don't get a dick right here in your face
This is
without
your-
going. And my mouth started watering involuntarily, and I wasn't even. It's not like I wanted to suck this guy's dick. It's just there's a dick in my face.
Yeah.
I'm gonna suck it.
Yeah.
And so it was. I just commented like, I go, it's so weird.
You're like a Saint Bernard that's all
To
it's
not-
food. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, but I wasn't horny for it. I want to be very clear. Like, I wasn't like, I want to fuck. It was just, I almost have a Pavlov's response to like, there's a dick, thus get some water in your mouth. Fill the gulch.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I said, and they couldn't believe I said, I mean, if these were, and then the show goes on. I wonder if they kept the clip in of me getting a really aggressive lap dance during the Magic Mike final performance in front of the crowd, where a guy tried to simulate sex on me, like oral sex from behind. Like, it was insane. And I would told them, like, I'm a girl that goes just, if I ever go to a strip club, I don't want girls talking. I don't want lap dances. I don't want the attention on me. I feel very sexually awkward. I don't like that. And they're very mindful of that on the show of like, to be a good Magic Mike performer, you have to feel which woman is going to be embarrassed and don't do this, and which woman really wants it, and which woman kind of wants it but is too shy. Like, you got to read energies. So they're really mindful of
get,
that.
like, consent.
They didn't fucking read my mind at all, because I'm sitting at this table with the judges. One of the guys comes over and like takes my hand and like scoots they pull your chair out, and everyone's like, woo! And I'm looking at the guys that are the other judges that are the main people that do the show, and they go, like, are you okay? Because they already know that I don't like this, and I do. It's fine. You know, like, it's fine. Like, let me just play along. And he, from what I remember, he picks me up. No, oh my God. He lifts me up, bends me over across the chair, and then starts dry humping my butt, like simulating active fucking, like hard fucking, while I'm wearing a skirt bent over. He's clothed, obviously, but that has no shirt on. And I'm just bent over looking at the table like, and everyone's cheering and stuff. So I'm just like, whatever, I'll have them cut it. Like, I can be a team player. And then they're seriously like, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, the guy that created Magic Mike is like, don't do this to our celebrity guest judge. And then the guy, and this guy did not get the memo that don't do this to Nikki. The two guys I met with that are the guys in the finale, they knew just to slow dance with me and just like be sweet. But the other guys in the show did not get the memo, and they're told like, we got to go to break. I'll come back and finish the story right after this. And we're back. So to conclude this guy goes from simulating fucking me from behind. I like to say the ass because I prefer that, but doggy style. And I'm bent over with my legs up over it. He bends me over a chair like aggressively.
Is your mouth wet at this point?
My asshole was. It just gets wet.
You know what makes me think when you're this close to a penis and you're not sucking? It's your whole like airplane theory. It just reminds the closeness. If you get this close, you're gonna either fall in love or suck a dick. It's like
it was immediate.
Okay, so he's banging you in the butt. And
I hate this. Like, I do not.
No, I would hate it.
I'm very sexual, but I do not like people hearing me have sex. I like talking about sex and talking graphically about my own sex life. I don't want to be a sex object ever in front of people. But I'm grinning and bearing it because this is the kind of show this is. Then the guy lifts me up, and I have a short skirt on, and I feel like he lifted me over his shoulder or something. Like, it was crazy aggressive. This guy was really strong and hot and everything, but he lifts me up, and he's not my type though. And I'm going like this, trying to put my hand where my fucking thong ass is to hide it. And then he plops me down on the piano, spreads my legs, and gets down on his knees to simulate oral sex. And that is when I look over at the Magic Mike guy and I go, mm-mm. And he rushes over and goes, no, we're not doing this. Don't.
Not on the piano.
No, yeah. Not on the baby grand. But it was those shows. That's why I don't go to those shows, is because I'm always scared I'm going to be that girl that
you're
gets
gonna be called in.
Simulated sex on her. And these guys, I think he just thought, based on my comedy and things, that this guy thought, and she's the celebrity guest judge, this is probably what he did with Whitney Cummings the week before.
Yeah.
Whitney would be down for this kind of thing, I think. And she was a guest judge on the show. But I did not want it, and I got back to the table, and I was kind of shaken up because it was embarrassing that it all came to a stop right away, and it was embarrassing that this guy was doing these things to me that I didn't want done to me, and that I literally, when he was doing that from behind, I go, I haven't had sex in 2.5 years. This is the closest I've come to have, and it has to be with someone I don't know in front of hundreds of people and cameras.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like this.
It's like a public proposal.
It was terrible with someone you don't know. It was not, and I'm not attracted to these, I'm not attracted to Magic Mike types at all. And so then we got back to the table and they're all like, are you okay? And I'm like, it's fine. They go, we are so sorry. We don't know how that happened. We told everyone, do not do, and I go, don't get him in trouble. He didn't know. He thought I was down. It wasn't him taking advantage of me. He really thought I was, and you could see the rest of the show. I think he had kind of deer in the headlights look of I just fucked up because I just, the celebrity guest judge, I fucking grinded on and simulated, but it was really aggressive. And Emil was there. Emil saw it. Afterwards, I was like, I don't want to even talk. It was so embarrassing. It was so uncomfortable. I was really pissed off. I just want to say, though, that the whole production team handled it really well. It was no one's fault. It was miscommunication. But if you are a girl that goes to one of those shows, by the way, the Magic Mike Vegas show is so fucking fun and so cool. I really do recommend it. And you can just, I would have said no initially if I wasn't the celebrity guest judge and on camera. I would have gone, no, not
know
me,
what they
dude.
should have?
And they would have stepped away. So you can do that. I don't want to make you feel
know
like
what they
unsafe going to
need?
these shows.
Have you ever been
Put on a
to
necklace.
a Brazilian steak restaurant?
Oh, and
They need a green light, red light with just a little card of
But
like.
the thing is, some girls want it, but they don't want to act
Okay,
like
so
they
then
want
there's
it.
a yellow card too.
Oh, you know what the red card is?
You know what I'm talking
going,
about,
No, I'm
though?
good, thank you though. That's what
But you know
said.
what I'm talking about though, the meat
Yes,
thing.
yeah, well-
it just would seem like it'd be like such an easy.
Oh God, it was like a lesser version of myself would have had a panic attack and like cry and like really cried because I felt because I do value, like I know people think I'm a whore.
this
I haven't
kinda-
had sex at this point. I had not had sex in over 2 years, and this guy there was only two pieces of fabric separating his dick from my asshole, and it was just like. And I don't know him, and he's slamming
Yeah.
it, and
I
literally,
think,
we're fucking in a way that I only fuck people I'm deeply in love with.
Yeah.
And so it was a violation.
I think like that, like the whole consent thing in regards to that, like it's a broader thing than what you're talking about, like where the idea is like, I've never had a dick this close without sucking it. So that guy hears that and he's like, oh, this chick.
Oh, I am not blaming the
No,
production or
I don't
him.
think there's blame. I'm just saying
This
that
goes
like,
back to the
this,
thing of like when you get accused of something or like someone confronts you about something. I'm confronting the Magic Mike show of like that made me uncomfortable and I did not like it. Do I think you need to pay me for that or be punished? No. Do I think that guy was a bad person? Do I think that he
Yeah.
doesn't know how to read women's cues? No, because I agreed to it the whole time. I had joked about I wasn't asking for it per
Yeah.
se, but in a way I was because I consented along the way and I had every chance to opt out of it. It just went too far. And as soon as it went too far, thank God the guy, so he was monitoring my face the whole time. And as soon as I just go and did the like cut across my neck, he rushed over so fast and was my hero and completely made me feel safe. And so in no way, when I say I was violated on that show, it was something that I signed up for and consented to and didn't know until it was already something I'm allowed to feel violated and have it be quote unquote my fault.
Yeah,
Those two
and
things
I think
can
that
be-
I mean there was a
can
story
coexist.
about a pitcher.
Picture.
A
Pitcher, an actual pitcher.
I don't want to mess his name up and like talk about another, but Bauer, I think his last name was, where a woman consented to rough sex, but then he took that
What
and then
does that
went
mean?
the extra mile. And now your version is like you consented to getting grinded to a point.
But the second I said
Yeah.
no, it stopped.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Yeah.
And with rough sex, Sarah Schaefer, my old podcast co-host, hooked up with a guy one time, and he's a famous person actually who has been Me Too'd since then. But
Oh wow.
this was a story long before he had been Me Too'd. He was like a child like star. Like he was a star when he was a kid, but like at this point he was an adult, but he was like still a Disney kind of
Wow, Screech.
figure. And she said, "You can be a little rough if you want." And he slapped her across the face so fucking hard. Like as soon as she thought in her joke, she's like, "I thought he would like take a piece of my hair and like just like gently pull it." And he just fucking slapped the shit out of her. And it was like,
Yeah.
that is so not what you can be a little rough or you can be really rough. That's not it. Take these things slow and be willing to not be humiliated when a girl goes, "No, not like that." And don't go, "You asked for it." It's okay that she asked for it and was wrong about her boundaries. And it's okay that you surpassed her boundaries if you were always taking those into consideration. We make mistakes. That's okay. And this
know
is
what's
not my
interesting,
statement
though?
about being on that show. I want to be on that show again. I would do anything to be on
Yeah.
that show again. I would not recommend any other show in Vegas besides that show. And I literally went into it thinking it would suck and I would have to act like I liked it.
What about when the Blue Men ran a train on you without you asking?
No, Blue Men is the same anxiety.
Being around doing this, it's an interesting point though of like it's hard to say no when there's 1,000 people watching that are like cheering it on. Like the fact that you would say no and ruin the good time for everyone
And
else.
make it weird.
But if you're alone,
It's also a risk.
but people a lot of times will go, well, it's just one person. You can make them.
No. That is so much
I
scarier
know.
because guess what? A guy That's why people
Especially
always
if you're
say,
alone in a
why,
guy's-
to call back to Louis. I haven't talked about him in this context on the show this week, but when people say the girls laughed when Louis took out his dick, they were giggling. What? Why? And they didn't tell him to stop. Well, when a guy takes out his dick when you don't want him to, or on the train, if you see a guy take out his dick, and people go, why did you just freeze? The thing is, it's not because they're consenting or okay with it, or because they kind of are interested and they want to see where it goes. It's because if a guy is willing to take out his dick when you don't expect it, what the fuck else is this guy capable of? That shows an error of judgment and an error in respecting your space. So when a guy, when you see a guy walking down the street and he's muttering to himself, he hasn't done anything wrong. He's allowed to mutter to himself. But you cross the street because the guy who's muttering to himself is capable of pulling out a machete and slicing your head off. That's in the same line.
But I agree with that to a point, though, because there's things that people have a moral, that can do things without it going to that. But
yes.
I understand,
but you're
being
also allowed to say,
afraid of
your
that.
dick is out and I do not care for
Of
this. And I am
course.
not going to suck it. That is my number one thing. Once you're talking to your kids tonight about their feelings towards BTS, please remind your daughters if a man takes out his penis, they do not have to do anything to it. Men often gaslight women into thinking, my penis is out, it's penis time. Did you not get the memo? And the girl just does it because she doesn't want to embarrass him because it's so brave to take out your dick. I covered all of this in Bangin'. Make sure your daughters know that men take their penises out way too soon and that they always will, and that your daughter is right to be like, I don't want to do anything with this, and that she's right to tell him to put it away, because girls do not know that. It took me 35 years to learn that, you guys. And not the whole 35 years. I mean, I wasn't dealing with dicks until far into my life. That always reminds me of people who were like, on their vows, I've been looking 35 years to find this woman. It's like, were you a horny toddler? Let's start it, maybe started looking at 20.
I had a dark thought the other day where someone's like, I'm 9 years cancer free. And I'm like, I'm 41 years cancer free.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Like, we're
By the way,
bragging?
you have cancer all the time. Your body's just fighting it.
Oh, my asshole's not.
Okay, final thought. Here, can we go through these?
Yeah.
These are maybe anxious attached, touch points. Thoughts and feelings that compel you to seek closeness with your partner. Thinking about your mate, difficulty concentrating on other things. Remembering only their good qualities. Putting them on a pedestal. Underestimating your talents and abilities and overestimating theirs. An anxious feeling that goes away only when you are in contact with them. Believing this is your only chance for love, as in, I'm only compatible with very few people. What are the chances I'll find another person like him or her? It takes years to meet someone new. I'll end up alone. Believing that even though you're unhappy, you'd better not let go. As in, if she leaves me, she'll turn into a great partner for someone else. Or he can change. Or all couples have problems. We're not special in that regard. Those, if you resonate with any of those, you might be anxious attached. Now, I resonate with all.
Yeah.
Those all resonate with me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I hate when people say that you resonate with something. Those things resonate with me too. And I don't know what I'm going to keep reading and find out more.
I know it's hard because those. You know what's interesting about all that is I feel like our friendship. I was anxious attached to this friendship.
Yes.
And you were avoidant
Yes.
with me.
Oh,
And the more
absolutely.
secure you became with me, of feeling like, oh,
I could
you're
tell you.
Yeah, we could talk, and you not respect, but there was just a level of where we've met in the middle
It's
that
communication
has been,
and being honest with you. That did make me mad, and I was out of line, and I'll try to do better. It's really is about communication.
Yeah, it's
and
so
honesty.
much, and you can this proves the point. To know what I was saying, you can change, and it can be healthy, and
And you can say that you need things.
Yeah.
You can say, if you're an anxious person, I just learned this, and I just kind of did this the other day, where I said, I need to hear from you, and I'm anxious attached. It's not my fault. It's like being a fucking
She's not
Gemini.
talking about me, because this can be confusing.
No.
Yeah.
But I talking to someone.
Yeah.
I said, I'm anxious attached, and I freak out when I don't hear from you because it's just the way I was raised. It's irrational. But I start going to all these weird fucking places, and it's not that abnormal. I'm a lot like other people. I'm just being honest with you. This is how girls think. I need to hear from you when I say how are you? I need something back. I need that. And if you can't give that to me, I totally understand. But that's not something I'm going to compromise on because I'm going to live in constant hell because of the way my brain is wired. It's not good. I'm not saying that I like this way. I'm trying my best to get better about this, but you need to help me out. Just like I need help. If you're in a wheelchair, I'm going to need you to push my wheelchair sometimes. Like I'm disabled in this way.
And you got to be okay with that person going, I hear you, I empathize with you, but I can't be that person for you, and you got to be okay with that no. You know what I mean?
Or
like,
if they say that, go, okay, well, I can't be with you then.
Yeah.
Or they can say,
be
I'm
ready
going
to
to
do
try
that.
my best and
Yeah.
let's see how it goes. And if it's not enough for you, I'm out. Or
Yeah.
you can go. But being okay with what you need is a new thing to me. And I don't know if you're listening and you relate to that at all.
Dude,
but being okay,
1,000,000%.
asking for things that you need that make you feel like too needy or a nag or like codependent. I mean, 2 months ago, you could have asked me about this and I would have said, yeah, if you need things, like that means that you don't like yourself and you need them. No. It's okay to need things from your parents, from your loved one. It's okay to say, I need that. And the fear is that they're going to say, I can't give that to you. And then you have to decide if you're willing to live a life of chronic anxiety and feeling not good enoughness because this person that you've chosen cannot meet your needs. And there is someone out there that would. There are people out there that can call you back or see a missed call from you and write to you and go, hey, what's up, hon? I'm sorry, I'm busy.
Yeah.
And then there are people that go, she is so needy. It's making me feel really like I don't like her anymore. And you shouldn't be with those people because they're not a good fit. And it sucks because we're attracted to these opposites. If any of this is interesting to you, please read Attached along with me. And if you read it and you come across something that you would like me to expound on, or there's something I missed that you think I would really like, I'd love to like have a book club about this book because it's really, I'm taking it slow. I'm rereading things. It's a really fast read. You can download it on your phone. That's how I read it. Yeah, because I'm going to be talking about it for a bit. And maybe if the way that I'm talking about this makes you think of something else, a lot of people recommended me great books about this weird theory I was saying about like, I'm everyone. And I was like, I don't even know what I mean. People sent me all these great books about that theory. So thank you, besties. And thank you, besties.
It is funny. They're like, you're describing it. I see what you're trying to do, but here's some book. Like
no, but I asked for that. I was like, do you know any
like,
little about this?
Here's how to buy a home. Like,
yes. Besties are so smart, and some of them are
yeah.
Like,
sometimes they break down like what
so
I'm trying to
nice.
say, and I'm like, you should be talking, and I should be
Dude,
fucking picking up
yesterday,
dog shit. Still.
I'm gonna go on that Instagram live again today, and pretty much every day this Christmas break because I'm not performing. It's just I'm having the best time at my open mics on there. Thank you to everyone who's a regular viewer of that. My guitar skills.
We're gonna be off next week. We still have an episode tomorrow.
We're gonna be off. What days?
All of next week we're off. You're gonna be in Hawaii.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's actually
Sorry to tell
really
you guys.
good for us.
I will be going live on Instagram. We'll both go live.
Yeah, I'll do
I don't
that.
mean to
We'll do
promise
fun
him.
stuff.
I will be going live
I'll
on
do that.
Instagram from Hawaii. I'll probably play guitar in my hotel room.
And I'll do it from inside a gator down in Florida.
Yeah, we'll make sure to follow us on Instagram. Sorry to take off for Christmas. I know that means a lot to you guys to have people there during the holidays, but we are always there in old episodes. You can write to me and I'll suggest some podcasts that might keep you company in other ways. But yeah, we're there for you. Follow us on Instagram. We have one more show tomorrow, so don't worry. Andrew is going to be in Michigan.
Yeah, I'm going to Michigan
I'm
right
going to
now.
be here. Yeah, he's driving to Michigan with Brenna.
Woo! 8 hours.
Well, that's a good drive. That'll be fun.
Yeah. We'll probably kill each other.
And we'll see you tomorrow here on the show. And then, yeah, just prepare for next week. We're going to be off, but we'll be on live. So don't worry. And go follow us on Nikki Glaser Pod. And thank you so much for joining us for coffee bags and coffee and tea bags. Mm-hmm. That's our
name. Sure.
and how are those glasses suiting you?
Good. I don't know if Brenna loves them. She said I look older, which isn't a good thing for a younger woman to tell.
Yeah, you're already.
It's already.
That's not. Yeah. I feel like you look younger. Huh. Well, don't be cut out there and Jack-o'-lantern.
Sigma Holmes.